Hello friends, so welcome back to my channel Mukesh English, and this is Mukesh Soni. Friends, in this video we are going to have the discussion of the important story titled A Face in the Dark, written by the famous writer Ruskin Bond. And this story, A Face in the Dark, is in the syllabus of second semester BA Generic English under Bangalore City University. So in this video we are going to summarize the story as well as we are going to have the discussion of the important questions. And for all the other lessons, I have already done it. You can see the links of those videos in the description box, the link of the grammar also, as well as the last two question papers links are also available in the description box. So let's begin the discussion. The story title, about the story. The story title, A Face in the Dark, is written by Indian author of British descent, Ruskin Bond. And here the author relates a thrilling incident set amidst the picturesque hills around Shimla. He makes skillful usage of all the elements of a horror story like fear, surprise, suspense, and the mystery to explore the humanity's collective fascination with the dark. His fascination with the paranormal finds expression in this important story, and the backdrop of the story is the capital city of Himachal Pradesh, that is Shimla. And here the author has used the geography of Shimla to create a very thrilling kind of an episode in the day of a teacher who teaches at a school in Shimla, and the story depicts the horror situation faced by Mr. Oliver in the forest of Shimla. Mr. Oliver is the main prime character who is the teacher in this story. Now, the summary of the story. A Face in the Dark begins with Mr. Oliver, who is a teacher whose parents were from both India and Britain. Mr. Oliver was returning to his school one late night on the outskirts of the hill station Shimla. The school in which Mr. Oliver was teaching was following the British education system. That day, when it was already dark in the evening, Mr. Oliver decided to make a deviation in his path and thought of taking a shortcut through the pine forest. The unusual and horrifying sounds of the pine trees during rainy and windy weathers used to keep the people away from it, but Mr. Oliver was a bold person and he decided to go through it so that he could save the time. At the same time, he was also familiar with the place. He was familiar with the place and he always carried a torch with him. While returning through the pine forest, he saw a figure of a boy at a certain distance. He saw that it was sitting on a rock all alone. He could not identify the boy as he was located at a certain distance from Mr. Oliver, and also he was puzzled as well as tensed at the same time because the boy was out of the premises of the school at such an unusual time of the day. On approaching the boy, Mr. Oliver found that the boy was continuously weeping and kept his face down. Mr. Oliver sensed that something might be wrong. He tried to ask the boy, but he kept on weeping and he did not stop while hiding his face continuously. Mr. Oliver kept on asking the boy why he was so much worried, but he was worried for him. Finally, the boy turned up his face, and seeing that the torch in the hands of Mr. Oliver fell down, he saw a face that had no eyes, no ears, or no mouth. It was just completely a ghostly figure. It only had the head with the school cap on it. Seeing this horrifying scene, Mr. Oliver screamed out for help in the dark. In the need of help, he ran towards the school where he noticed a lantern hanging. The lantern he noticed was in the middle of the path. He also saw a watchman standing near the entry gate of the school. Mr. Oliver ran up to him and explained to him what he saw in the dark. The watchman said that he witnessed a horrifying scene where he saw a boy who had no face. In a reply, the watchman turned towards the teacher and he said, "Do you mean it was like this?" To his surprise, Mr. Oliver saw that the watchman too had no face. The watchman also had no face. He also did not have any eyebrows. This made Mr. Oliver even more terrified, and the winds blowing put out the lamp. The suspense still exists because the readers are yet to find out what happened with Mr. Oliver. So, this is a summary of the important story, A Face in the Dark. And now we are going to have the discussion of the important questions, which will help us to revise the whole story. Question number one. What was the usual leisure activity of Mr. Oliver? Answer. Mr. Oliver, an Anglo-Indian teacher who was returning to school late one night on the outskirts of the hill station of Shimla. So that was his regular routine, that he used to cross that particular jungle. Then Life magazine had called the school the Eton of the East. Eton of the East. What did Mr. Oliver carry with him when he walked through the pine forest? The lantern. I'm sorry, the torch. He used to carry a torch. Where did Mr. Oliver find the boy, and why was Mr. Oliver surprised? When the torch's flickering light fell on the figure of a boy who was sitting alone on a rock, Mr. Oliver stopped, but even as he approached to the boy, he sensed that something went wrong. The boy appeared to be crying, his head hung down, he held his face in his hands, and his body shook continuously. It was a strange, soundless weeping, and Mr. Oliver felt distinctly uneasy, shocked, astonished. What was the boy doing when Mr. Oliver found him? The boy appeared to be crying. He was crying, his head hung down, he held his face in his hands, and his body shook convulsively. Why did Mr. Oliver feel distinctly uneasy when he walked through the pine forest? The boy appeared to be crying, his head hung down, and he found the boy in a very such situation, that was very strange situation, and he was continuously crying, that made Mr. Oliver uneasily. Why was Mr. Oliver shocked to see the boy's face? Because he had no eyes, no tears, no nose, no mouth. It was just a round, smooth head with a school cap on the top of it. Then, what did Oliver see when he was still running? He was still running towards the school building, and he saw a lantern swinging in the middle of the path. He saw a lantern swinging in the middle of the path when he was running towards the school. What did the watchman do when the teacher was running? The watchman was carrying a lantern swinging in the middle of the path. Then, okay, these are the questions. So, friends, this is how I have tried to give you the summary of the important lesson, A Face in the Dark by Ruskin Bond, with the question answers. So, if you like this video, click on the like button, share this video to your friends, and subscribe the channel if you have not yet done it. Kindly subscribe the channel. Just look into the description box. You'll find all the lessons, summaries, link, question answers link, grammar link, plus all the previous three question papers: solution paper, model question paper, 2022 question paper, 2023 question paper, 3 QP solution you'll find. Thank you so much. Stay connected with Mukesh English.